Aloha, friends and neighbors. Welcome. Welcome to program 999. Thank you for joining me. I hope I may show you a little different side of your reality, something that might wake you up a little bit and enable you to enjoy the passing scene more, although it's certainly been difficult, hasn't it? Clowns on the right of me, jokers on the left. Oh boy, all my equipment broke down. This has been a tough holiday season. Anyway, this is show 999. Thank you for tuning in and opening your mind to something a little different. Hey, you know, nines are a very magical number. You know, you can multiply a 9 by any number. Oops, what's that? Any number at all. And add up the digits, and it goes back to 9. It's very strange. 3 times 9 is 27. 2 and 7 is 9. Yeah. 5 times 9 is 45. 4 and 5 is 9. You can multiply a 9 times 14 million zillion things, and add up the digits, and it goes back to 9 again. So these nines really seriously thing. So I'm kind of thinking I'm going to change the show a little bit. No, not much change, but I've had to get by with no computer and very little technical support. All my stuff is having bad connections. This is the second time I'm doing this show. So I'm going to simplify a little bit, but more on that later. First of all, let's talk about what's coming up for you in the next 10 days, huh? Interesting things. There is a full moon Saturday evening at 3 degrees of Leo. It kind of gives up on Venus and the moon in the U.S. chart, so we won't be so worried about money and all that stuff. Mercury goes direct. Hooray on the 25th. Mercury's going forward at 15 degrees of Capricorn. And, excuse this shoddy camera work, I got weird equipment here. Anyway, here's Mercury going forward. It's right on Pluto. So as Mercury goes forward Monday, I'm going to speak out for Pluto. What's Pluto? The police, the guns, the epidemics, the investigations, the Sherlock Holmes. Here's the thing. We got a whole system of planets set up here. Here's Mars at the end of next week. It'll be at 15. And the sun's squaring it. And so we're going to be more and more temper tantrums as you go later in the next 10, 12 days. But Mars is here in sextile to Mercury and Pluto. So when Mercury stops Monday and the moon sets it off, especially, you know, Pluto's going to speak out, and he says, you need your guns to protect yourselves. And this issue of protection is Mars, huh? And so everybody can carry around their 6-gun open carry laws. Oh boy. But look, what they're doing is there's little 30-degree angles here. These are the semi-sextiles, they call them, ignored in Western astrology, but any multiple of 30 is a major angle. And these things are the little seesaws. 150-degree angle is a seesaw like that. 30 degrees is an upside-down seesaw. So when Saturn's up on the seesaw, Mars, Pluto, and Mercury are down. When Mars, Pluto, and Mercury are up, Saturn's down. And the old man ain't watching the store, and the young guys are going to steal the show and start carrying guns to protect themselves? Hoo, 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 hoo. What a laugh. You think the policemen feel like they're protected because they're carrying guns? No, the nightmare of your average poor policeman is somebody's going to take his gun and shoot him. And so carrying a gun just makes it more dangerous. But then, you know, we're going to forget tradition and the law and rules and regulations. Watch TV and the movies. Everybody's carrying a gun around, pointing it right in front of their face with 2 hands on the little pistol. Can't see where they're going. You know, it's ridiculous. Too much movies. In the Old West, traditionally, there was a sign. You couldn't go into a town. There was a sign. You have to give up all your hand weapons. You could not carry a Derringer or a 6-gun or any of that. That's all baloney. what you see in the movies. You know, two guys facing off with their 6 guns. Pure fantasy. It never happened. Most people killed in the Old West were killed with a shotgun blast to the back. So this, you know, we're forgetting Saturn and the past and the lessons, and we're going off on a big toot here. And you're going to see it happen with this setup we have in the sky right now. Well, let's get down to business. The sun will sextile Saturn and give him some support. Here's the president and the father in the sky in about 12 days from where you are will sextile Saturn and say, wait a minute here, what about the laws? Don't let these young guys run off and carry their pistols around. So it's a weird time, huh? Well, let's take a look at it day by day. We're going to run the moon around the edge here. And as it makes angles to these various bodies, these planetary persons, these Greek and Roman and Mayan gods, as they make angles, multiples of 30 degrees, it gives us the mood of the times. And if here you are watching the show on the Thursday night show, well, it's a pretty nice Thursday night. You know, before dinner, moon's in Cancer, trines Neptune. There's color, art, music, faith. You know, around dinner time, moon trines Mars. And it's very nice. The blues are trines and sextiles, easy energy. The reds, they're not. So don't be lulled into a sense of I got it all together here Thursday night. Because Friday morning, you could have some alarm bells. In fact, here's Mercury on the new moon point. This was the new moon that squared Uranus. Yes. And you're still, that was 2 weeks ago for you. And you know, this means Uranus is very much in lunacy. Of course, Uranus is squaring Pluto. And here's Mercury stopping on Pluto. And it's on the new moon square. So there's total lunacy Friday morning on the 22nd. You could wake up to alarm bells. You could get phone calls. There could be all sorts, or maybe no calls, and feel isolated and panicky. And it happens early in the morning. It starts with Mercury, the kids, and can't communicate, and there's lunacy. Did I say right or left? Then there's Pluto, a panicky feeling. Eek! You know, I don't have control of things. Then there's Uranus. I'm isolated. You know, my electronics aren't working. My computer broke down. So this is a Freaky Friday. It's a good name for it. Doesn't settle out until after dinner when finally there's a sextile to Jupiter and some wisdom pops up and the node and there's nurturing. We got to take care of everybody. That's the truth. Even the clowns and the jokers deserve some care. It'll be a flash, you know, after dinner Friday, but it's the truth. On Saturday morning, the moon's still in Cancer, and you'll still be feeling your Freaky Friday, but the moon shifts into Leo, you know, here after breakfast, and there's the full moon at 3 degrees. So Saturday, a full moon, there's the moon mother and the sun father are having a disagreement, and it gets wobbly and over emotional. And so Saturday, you know, the policy I have is I don't work on full moons. Too much exaggerated emotion and the faces get big and all clownish, and nope. So take it easy Saturday. You're not going to get anything done. Sunday morning on the 24th, here's the square to Mars. Impatience, angriness right away, you know, early in the morning here. And people wake up and they're full of vim and vigor, but it's impatience and angry. Ask yourself what you're protecting. By the middle of the day in the afternoon, we finally get a trine to Saturn, and things settle down. We get organized. Traditional things work. And then in the evening, around dinner time, here's a trine to Uranus Sunday. And brotherhood and technical ability shows up. Some genius of the mind. Common sense clicks in. Yes. The answer is not gun control, it's global warming. Okay. Monday, the moon's still in Leo. It stays there until after dinner.
when, and you'll still be feeling probably the smarts from Friday and Saturday. But Monday night, dinner time, after dinner, here's finally a trine to Venus. Things settle down. There's some sweets. There's some love. The moon shifts into Virgo. Virgo is nice. Virgo is the wounded healer ruled by Chiron, huh? And it's the helper. Here's what the doctors in the hospitals are supposed to be all about. The drugs are supposed to be there to help you, not to mess you up. By the way, there's a website called Ask a Patient. I made a note here. AskApatient.com will get you real information about the drugs. The doctors don't know about all these drugs, They're kind of the dupes of the drug companies in a way. So you cannot trust the doctors to know all about all these exotic things. Every week there's a new drug. But you Google AskApatient.com, you can put the name of any drug in and find out what the people that actually took these drugs, what the side effects are, and what you're into. Okay, Virgo stuff, huh? There's an opposition to Neptune Tuesday, and you're not going to like the drugs and the doctors. And what do you mean drug war? Put people in jail for using natural drugs. Make them take the corporate drugs. That's what the drug war is about. And then when they sue, the lawyers get money. Excuse me. I'm kind of jaded about that business. But it's confusion. If you have trouble with liquids Tuesday morning, be a little careful because there still could be some flooding around. Saturn squaring Neptune seems to be easing off. Saturn's moving away from Neptune. And, listen to that. There's the sirens outside. They're practicing emergency drills. I expected that on Friday. Here we are on Monday. Well, after you feel stuck, and after the square to Saturn and a day of confusion Tuesday, late after midnight, there's a trine to Mercury and Pluto. There's discovery here, folks. Real discovery. And because, Mercury just went direct and it's right on Pluto. You could get information about your latest epidemic. Dengue fever? Now PTSD is an epidemic. Our medical system has been co-opted by corporations. So you got to do your own work. Do some investigations Tuesday night. Wednesday morning, you'll be very pleased. Go check out AskApatient.com. And on Wednesday, there'll be truth coming out about it all. Look at that. The moon's going to go by Jupiter and the North Node. We want to take care of everybody. There's truth and wisdom and lightning bolts of truth all through the middle of the day, Wednesday, while the moon's in Virgo. Very nice. Very nice. Stays that way until Thursday morning when you wake up on the 28th. The moon's in Libra. Different feeling altogether. In the middle of the day, here's a square to Venus. There's no rest. There's no sweets. Can't get no satisfaction. Square to Venus. But by evening time and dinner time, the moon trines the sun and we got some ambition. We got a plan back. Don't get too ambitious here, though, because here's Freaky Friday. And it's going to start in the middle of the day with the square to Pluto, a little panicky feeling. And in the middle of it all, here's a sextile to Saturn. There is some settling down, a plan. Traditional things work. But look out, here's the opposition to Uranus. And Mercury's there with giving us communication problems. And Uranus is a breakdown of electronics. Twist the plugs. Now this is where that new moon square is. And here's the moon opposing Uranus, which was squared by the last new moon. So this is a very tricky time. And if there was ever a time when you're saying, eek, an earthquake, eek, a hurricane, eek, a tornado, eek, I'm isolated. There's a sense of panic, can't communicate. Where's the kids? Just a little bit of Saturn there. When is that? That's probably 2, 3, 4 in the afternoon. You might catch an option for traditional solutions. Otherwise, batten down the hatches. Could be some high winds here. Uranus, remember, is the master of the winds, huh? Yeah, Neptune now does water. We've had our water. Even dengue fever was a water trip, right? A mistaken astrologer diagnosis. But there was flooding everywhere, just as I said. It just turned out to be small floods in Kona. At any rate, my computer's been down. I don't have my astrocartography tool, so I can't tell you where this Uranus thing is going to be. But there'll be high winds, and it's going to knock down all communication wires, and you're going to see a lot of it on Friday, the 29th. And Freaky Fridays, okay? Freaky Fridays. Happens suddenly. Twist the connections. On Saturday, on the 30th, the moon's still in Libra. You're going to be feeling the Friday and still be jittery all the way through till dinner time, when finally the moon shifts into Scorpio. And you're in the Mars zone. The Scorpio stuff is, it's fixed water. And so in the morning there's a trine to Neptune. Have some faith, turn on some music, some art, calm yourself, get some compassion going, do something for somebody else early in the morning. In the middle of the day, the sun's in square, can't get much done, start to get impatient and angry on Sunday, which comes in late, dinner time, and after dinner, the moon's going to hit Mars, and the ladies and the dogs and cats and everybody's going to tend to fight and be overprotective. Ask yourself what you're protecting. That's what Sunday, the 31st, is about. Find something constructive to do. You had some lessons here about, the wind knocking down and throwing things all around. I'm sure you got some repair work to do. I'm still working on repairing Neptune problems. Hit me pretty strong. And now I'm dealing with Uranus stuff too. This is the second time I've had to do this show, because the first time I thought was great, but the video kept blanking out. So I had to change decks. And I'm hoping to get a better recording this time. Anyway, Mercury going direct is a big thing. In fact, it goes direct on Pluto. Means there's going to be a lot of talk about Pluto. And Pluto is a problem in the USA chart, in the government and the country's chart. Pluto's a problem. Yes. I made a little cartoon here for you. When I grew up in Oakland, there was like a kind of a joke about the police. And they would say, stop! And then bang, bang, shoot! And then they'd say, or I'll shoot. So it was stop, bang, bang, or I'll shoot. And what's this about the guns? I know the policemen don't like these guns. They make the policeman's job deadly. And when they get scared, they're shooting. A lot of people they shouldn't be shooting. They get overtrained on this gun. You can see, here they are holding it with the little gun with two hands right up in front of their eyes. They can't see what's in front of them. And they're trained to do that quick. Pull it quick and shoot. Too damn many cowboy movies. And cowboys didn't carry guns like that. But this is happening in your neighborhood, folks. I have a scheme. And my scheme is I live on the big island of Hawaii. And we could easily outlaw all handguns. We could outlaw them on this island. No more handguns. That means the police will have to carry shoulder-long guns if they want to carry a gun. Let them. When I grew up in Oakland, there were guys, all the pickup trucks had a rifle rack in the back window with a rifle or a shotgun on it, and you could openly drive around with this long gun in your car. Anyway, the scheme is, on the island of Hawaii, we're going to outlaw all guns. The cops won't carry handguns. The people, the CIA, the bodyguards of all those rich people we have sneaking around at the airport in their Learjets, in their luxury mansions off on the beaches of the Big Island. No more No more small handguns. Just outlaw them all. You know what will happen? The tourists will love it. And they will come here and they will spend money. And the Chamber of Commerce will love it. And the police will love it. You know, they can walk around with a shotgun or a rifle strapped over their shoulder if they want. But they'll feel a lot safer than they stupid little cowboy guns we got out of the movies. The training is terrible. The tool is terrible. And we're having lots of accidents. And the police are as much a victim of this mindset as everybody else is. Now, this is happening to you on the local level. If you look at the international level, you got the same thing. Here's Uncle Sam. Stop! Or nuke, bomb, napalm, bunker busters. You know, Uncle Sam has got the same neurotic trip going as we've turned our poor policemen into. And here we are off bombing people from the sky. We can't even see them, women, children. You know, this is indiscriminate power and control trips. And you know who did this was, we had a chance to get rid of all the nukes. And Ronald Reagan started his Star Wars crap. And probably the most devilish president we've ever had. And the Russians said, well, the Russians were going to get rid of all the nukes. And with the U.S. and Russia, we could have taken all the nukes out, just like outlawing handguns. Not long ago, just nukes. But we missed the chance because of Ronald Reagan's little power trip. He listened to certain bad scientists at Lawrence Livermore Radiation Lab, and he started doing his Star Wars, saying, we can protect ourselves. And the Russians said, no, okay, the deal's off. And we still got thousands and thousands of nukes. You know what it is? It's power and control. It's intimidation. Yes, the policeman says, stop, you better stop. He's got the power and the control. Well, that's very habit forming. It's like, you know, fear porn or sex. And this stuff on the national level has ruined the reputation of our country. And on the local level, it's ruined the reputation of our police. And it's all about intimidation. That's what it is. Do what we say or else we'll kill you. You know, the guy with the ventriloquist dummies on the Comedy Channel, he's got that one little skeleton puppet. He says, I kill you. Well, you know, nuclear weapons, if we can't get rid of nuclear weapons on the world stage, how the hell are we ever going to get rid of handguns on guys in black uniforms running around? And oh boy, Pluto, huh? It's a definite neurosis in the U.S. chart. Pluto opposes Mercury. Pluto rules the 6th house of servants. This guy's supposed to be our servant, and yet, you know, started off slaves. I got a lot I could say about that. Every white man in the South for 100 years had to go out once a month with his dog and his horse and his gun and chase down any black people who were out at night. Couldn't go out at night. Had to have a note from your owner. If you weren't, look out, they'd get you, and you'd be really sorry. So we have this intimidation comes out of the South and out of slavery originally, and now it translates to Chicago and all of our big cities, and black suited policemen with guns. It's no different, folks. No. And on the national level, we're still doing it. I mean, we're addicted to power and control stuff. Got to stop someplace. Now, for something a little lighter. End of the year, I'm watching on Turner Classic Movies, God bless him, and the History Channel. And then the History Channel showed a thing about Nostradamus. I found it on TCM played it. Just a little half-hour thing. Built in 1953. And it was pretty damn truthful about Nostradamus and some of his stuff. But he wrote it all in quatrains. And look at, here's all the years it comes up on TCM that people did Nostradamus movies. And you know what? It's Neptune ripping off Uranus. Nostradamus was an astrologer. And everybody's trying to turn him into a psychic and this and that, and a doctor, priest, artist, Neptune. No, he's an astrologer. And here's the thing. I did a lot of study on it. You go back 5-6 years, all on my shows. I read a little French. I read all the quatrains. I'm looking for anything I can peg a date down to. There's no dates in any of the quatrains except one. The last month of 1999. One quatrain has a year and a date. And the quatrain says, "The King of Terror shall descend from the sky and chase people, and Mars comes down and saves people, and Mars reigns happily." What happened then? None of these guys are talking about it. They didn't read it. They're just making this stuff up, and nobody's around to defend Nostradamus, the astrologer. Oh, he did it out of dreams. No, he was scrying in a bowl of water. Baloney. The King of Terror turned out to be the U.S. Air Force coupled with the NATO Air Force. And there was a big thing going on in the Balkans, and the white howlies were all killing them poor Muslims and trying to drive them out of, and so these guys came down and did a little shock and awe. The most powerful bombing thing ever happened. The King of Terror was the U.S. Air Force and NATO. And then they landed, and they put boots on the ground, and they saved all those Muslims. And Mars was happy. The soldiers said, "We did good. For once, we didn't go kill everybody. For once, we saved everybody." And now, what's the King of Terror about? Well, Nostradamus did all of his stuff with Saturn-Jupiter conjunctions and cycles and the great 28-year cycle of the moon. And Karl Ernst Kraft figured out how he did it. The Nazis tried to co-opt it. He wouldn't go for it. He wound up being thrown in the camps. And after Hess got converted to astrology and tried to make peace with England, Hitler threw all the astrologers in the camps, killed them all. That's what happens to astrologers lots of times. So I keep my head down. And in my notes here, I'm going to keep up the sky mirror. But here's the thing. Do you know your rising sign? The sun's your father. The moon's your mother. The rising sign is you. You need to know your rising sign. You can do it in your head. More on that later. Saturn snuck into the management of our public access, said I have to air this disclaimer. Nobody tells me what to say. And airtime is free. You can do this yourself. And I do this show at home on all used equipment. You can